Okay, so we're finally live and finally got this thing going. And truthfully, I probably could have started at noon, but man, it really started getting kind of chaotic. So here we are. Welcome to Ravenna Baptist Church here in Ravenna, Michigan. Everyone started off with the scenarios right now. And as a matter of fact, let's go have a visit at one of them. This is going to be scenario 2. And at the top of the list, that is like a nightmare scenario for a lot of churches and all that, is somebody who's causing a disruption. They just got done with this scenario. We'll come back and visit them here in a little bit. But one of the nightmare scenarios is someone who's causing a disruption during service. Now, this particular scenario isn't during service, but it's similar enough in that you've got someone who's really angry, loud, and obnoxious, demanding to see and talk to the pastor. How do you handle a situation like that? Number one, we got to remember this is all about ministry, right? We're talking about a church right here, broken person or otherwise. They're here. They want to talk to the pastor. How are you going to de-escalate that situation? Number one, we're not going to just immediately hand them off to the pastor. We want to talk to them, de-escalate the situation. And as a matter of fact, it may be possible that a deacon or an elder may be the person they need to talk to. So don't be so quick to just jump down someone's throat or something, or overreact or underreact with the situation just because you're not feeling comfortable with the way they're asking to see the pastor, okay? So 4 very dynamic, realistic scenarios going on today. Let's take another walk at another situation right here. All our scenarios I've taken from real life incidences that have either taken place at my church or in area churches around West Michigan. Now this scenario right here, let me spin around. Scenario 4 in the men's bathroom. Now, it's taking place in the men's bathroom. However, several incidences that made the news in a negative way in West Michigan. We had several incidences over the last couple of years. Very similar situation. Church personnel encountered an unknown person in an unauthorized area of the church and ended up mishandling the situation in such a way that it became violent. So I create and one of those type of scenarios right here to give people an opportunity to kind of practice and rehearse. How would you handle a situation where you come upon an unknown person? And some of these situations can really, unfortunately, end up very badly. January 3rd in Texas, a pastor and several of his deacons and elders opening up church, getting ready for church service, unfortunately encountered a gentleman hiding in the men's bathroom. The pastor felt inclined to pull a gun on him, and it went sideways. Next thing you know, the pastor's gun is taken away from him, and he's shot and killed by his own gun. Oh.
I didn't expect you.
Well, that was quick.
Oh, okay. So switch it up a little bit. Yeah.
For me, it was more of like I didn't want to fluster anybody because it was a women in the men's bathroom, and so I did not like.
How did you feel when I got right up in your face?
It was, I won't want to say flustered, but it was more of okay, this is what I feel like I have to do in order to try and get it was like hey Matt, ask me if you want to.
We always go, during our critique phase, which lasts about 4 or 5 minutes, we always talk about what everyone did right? Because we always want to affirm and validate what people did right because we want them to keep doing it. And then we talk about some of the things they could have done differently. For example, just to pass it on to you guys. So you encounter someone in a bathroom, which is usually and generally an enclosed environment. Do not feel tempted to just everyone, you and your partner or whatever, just go rushing into an enclosed environment and potentially find yourself in a violent confrontation that you're not prepared for, equipped for, or trained for. So don't immediately just go rushing into a bathroom to deal with somebody. We've had that happen several instances at different training seminars where I'll place a guy in the ladies' bathroom, and some of the people who roll into that scenario are just so offended at the idea of a man in the ladies' bathroom that they grossly mishandle the situation. So here's something that I want people to do. Just slow down and consider. What exactly is the problem with the guy in the ladies' bathroom that you have to respond to it so heavy-handedly? What if it's actually a medical emergency or a bathroom emergency and the person really either doesn't know that they're in the ladies' room or doesn't care because they need to use the bathroom? Before you start making assumptions and all that, slow down, take a breath, and really assess the situation that you're about to get into. Don't always assume that just because unknown person in the ladies' room or men's bathroom and all that, that there's actually something nefarious going on. Because chances are good that it's not, that there's actually probably a rational explanation. Okay, let's take a look at this other scenario, scenario 3. Okay. And all these scenarios that I do at churches and with clients, I try to do it in their building, in their venue. Why? Because I'm a big believer in developing that home court advantage mentality. That's scientifically proven, right? So we'll go into a church and we'll set up the scenario stations either at or very close to where such a potential situation could go down. Because if and when these people ever find themselves in a similar situation, I want their brain to already have developed that confidence in knowing, hey, I've been here before, I did this before, this is what I need to make sure I do, this is what I need to make sure I don't do, right? So they're going through a critique phase right now. Gosh, my timing sucks. All these scenario stations I'm hitting so far has been either right after they just got done. So they're talking it over right now. But I definitely want to show this scenario station to you here. Let's take a walk and check out one of the other scenarios here. So we got a pretty decent crowd here. We were here at this church last Saturday. It was a very successful training seminar, and then word spread like wildfire. Originally had about 15 people signed up for a day, and another 5 or 6 ended up signing up for it today. Now we're at the tail end of a blizzard. About here in West Michigan, about, gosh, maybe 12, 13 inches of snow came down over the last couple of days. And I think some people ended up not showing up today because of the condition of the roads and all that. Oh, here we go.
Oh, come on. It's horrible.
Yes, yeah. It is horrible.
The person that I need to get money from is coming, but could you wait outside? Would you?
Can I wait outside in the cold?
No.
Just out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to let you guys know is I'm a veteran. Okay? I've already talked to Veterans Affairs. They got me calling 1-800 numbers and I can't get through.
Frustrating.
Okay?
Dennis,
But
that is so frustrating. But first of all, let me thank you for your service to our country. What branch of the service?
Army. I was in the Army. Yeah.
Oh, that is tough. My brother-in-law is in the Marines, and he's gone a lot.
Yeah. Wait. You go get some money. I need some money now.
I was just going to tell you, we love helping and serving, especially our local veterans, and I think our pastor is right out here. If you'd like to come with me, we can talk with him, and we keep...
So talk to somebody else.
No.
Oh, no, we'll go with you. Yep.
Come with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
Very basic, common scenario to any church. Someone comes in asking for some type of financial aid, financial assistance, and all of a sudden they get upset. They're frustrated with the number of times that they've been, quote unquote, rejected and so on. It can be a very volatile, tricky situation, right? In this case, Dennis, my instructor role player here, retired from the Army and retired from Grand Rapids Police. He and I worked a number of years in Grand Rapids, locking it down. And so his scenario is he's coming in asking for financial assistance, financial aid, and then he just goes off on Veterans Affairs issues, right? And you've got to sometimes be able to be flexible and adapt and be able to switch gears, because sometimes someone who may have some mental illness or whatever might switch gears on you, and you've got to be able to stay with it. Otherwise, you're liable to say or do something that could escalate that situation, right? Now, from what we just observed right now, the ladies and the girls were handling it really well, maintained a good reactionary gap. And they were talking to him in a soft tone of voice. Critical when you're talking to somebody that you maintain a calm tone of voice when you're talking to somebody. All right, we're going to go into this scenario right here. Some folks ought to be coming real soon. Now, this is a scenario that's going to take place inside the sanctuary. And again, this is one of those situations where a lot of churches and security personnel really get the heebie-jeebies when they think about it. What will happen when you have somebody in service who starts creating a disturbance? Now, in Michigan, it's a crime to do that. So right off the bat, for those of you running churches here in Michigan, right off the bat, call the police, get them coming. Now, if you're able to de-escalate the situation and they leave on their own, hey, that's great. And, you know, you have the option to disregard the police. However, don't try to necessarily handle it on your own, because if it does go off the rails, I'd rather the police be a minute away than 15 minutes away, because you know doggone well the police are not going to be here just like that. I mean, that is just life. It will not happen. It is very, very rare that a situation will happen. And even in my 20 years career, I probably was literally around the corner from a situation in progress maybe 3 times in my career. I mean, it's very, very rare. All right, let me see where the other students are. How things going? Good. Okay, this is Larry Cannon, retired Michigan State Police. How many years you do, Larry?
26.
26 years. I recruited him from his church when we worked with their church a number of years ago. He's doing a phenomenal job being one of my instructor role players. So we're just waiting for the next group right here, and you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see where everyone is. Now, normally I'm running around cracking the whip, get people moving, right? Where is everybody? Anyone waiting to go to scenario 2? Where's the paddle? If the paddle, yeah, okay. If the paddle's there, it means you're that scenario's option. Ready? Yep. Okay.
Hi there, sir. Oh my goodness. I need to see the pastor. I need to see the pastor. He is not teaching the word of the Lord. He is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Talking about submarines and people dying at the bottom of the ocean and salad dressing. What is he doing? That is not what is in this book. Where is the pastor? Can you help me with the pastor? Can you get the pastor for me? Please, he needs my help. Can you get the pastor for me? Can you get the pastor for me? Please, because this church is something wrong going on. There's something is really wrong, and I need to help him. Can you? I am like a good Samaritan. I am here to help him. Where is he? Can you call him for me, please?
Hi, my name's Ben. What's your name, sir?
My name is Charles.
Hi, Charles. I understand you'd like to see the pastor?
Yes, I want to see the pastor because he's messing up. Something's got to change around here. I have been sent by the Lord to help him. Can you get him? When can I see the pastor?
That scenario, the stuff that Larry's mentioning, because we got a copy of the pastor's sermon from last Sunday, and so Larry went through it and picked apart some things that he could use for the scenario, right? Now, what's interesting is that the pastor of this church is here going through the scenarios, and I told Larry that when he comes through your scenario station to give him some extra love, right? All right, let's go on to one of our other scenarios right here. We saw number 1, that was number 2. Let's go out here, this other one.
It's all the further I had to be right there. And if you could have stepped in and just kind of...
My timing, they're already done and going through the critique phase again. We're gonna wait here. This is probably the highlight of the training scenario day, this particular situation. Just to give you a little bit of background, okay? You are made aware of or are called to a loud domestic argument between parents over at the nursery or at this, the children's area, the children's ministry area. Dealing with domestics can be a really volatile, very tricky situation. You don't necessarily want to go hands-on on anybody because you could absolutely set that thing off. I've seen a lot of people on some church security forums and all that where their attitude is heck no, we're not going to let someone get away with that. Either A, they're going to go hands-on on some people. Now, I'm not going to say that there isn't going to be a time where you may have to, but you need to be very, very careful about those times because this is a real gray area. Remember, folks, you're civilians. You don't have arrest powers. You're volunteering in a church. That doesn't mean you have the right and authority to just go hands-on someone. Because the moment you do that and you initiate physical contact with somebody, you have absolutely opened yourself and the church up to civil suits and civil liability. When you're dealing with a situation such as a domestic argument and all that, one of the best things you can do is separate them. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to grab onto them. There's ways to do that, and it's a whole different topic for me to go into right now, but you can separate them by just using your body, the step between them, and using your body. You keep walking towards them and they'll just back up out of the way. All right, here we go. Let's watch this.
Look what I'm dealing with! Look what I'm dealing with! Get out of here! I just want to take my daughter to breakfast. Is that so bad?
It's not his
What the
way.
hell? She's a freaking nut job! She's a nut job!
He's trying to take my daughter.
My daughter too! She's my daughter!
Now you say that. You don't want to
Well, I'm interested in taking her breakfast!
Well, you can't. Because now you're weak. Go! Calm down. He's trying to take my daughter.
I want my daughter. Can you help me get my daughter?
Get out of here. Make him leave.
No, I didn't sign her in. She's going to church anyways. I don't care about the policy. It's my daughter. You can't keep her.
No, Jim, get out of here.
You can't keep
I said go. No. You can't have her. Go.
Oh, for God's sake.
Get
Just
out
let
of
me
here.
buy. I just want to take her to breakfast.
You can't
What do
take
you
her.
care?
You can have her next week.
Oh, for God's
She's not-
sake. She's such a
Go.
nut job. Just
Get out of here.
You see what I got to deal with? See what I got
I
to deal
don't.
with?
You're not doing anything. All I want him to do is leave. He doesn't even go to church here.
I got
Go.
a visitation
Get
schedule.
out of here.
No, I'm not going anywhere until I
Make
get
him
Gwen.
leave.
Not until I get Gwen.
Go.
know about our policies here?
Oh my gosh. Annette, are you okay? Annette, are you okay? That's Annette. What do you do?
What do we do?
That's Annette.
I-
That's the person that just passed out.
Passed up.
You have a medical situation.
You got a medical now.
Oh, I don't have a medical. Calls. I don't have a medical degree. Call for emergency.
What do you call?
Call it for emergency.
Who?
911.
There you go. How about
And just like that, you may have to switch gears and go from dealing with someone who's loud, rude, obnoxious, and in your face to now becoming a first responder, performing CPR, and grabbing the AED. Now, I throw in these medical emergencies and medical surprises on these folks just to remind people that there's a lot more to church security and being able to keep your church safe and all that than going to the range all the time and guns, which is important. But let's not forget that if you're going to have a well-rounded team, response team, emergency response team, security ushers and greeters, you need to make sure you stay on top of your first aid and know where all the AEDs are. And so we throw this thing in there, and you can absolutely see where all of a sudden, you know, when you need to change gears and now go into lifesaver mode, oops, you can hear the brakes screeching. We did training with the church about 2 years ago, and they basically just stood over Jim. Jim right there is a Grand Rapids firefighter, 36 some years. Annette is a retired Waterford Police Department over there by Detroit, 30 some years also. And so the whole idea, during that scenario, these guys just kind of stood over Jim as he simulated his heart attack. And then as he's getting ready to throw the CPR dummy out, he's looking up at them because they're just standing there. So as he's trying to kind of encourage them to, figure out what they need to do next, their attitude and demeanor was, well, one group was like, well, you are so loud, rude, and obnoxious, we're basically just going to let you lay there. No, that's not the right thing to do, okay? In this day and age, I guarantee you, you're going to be on someone's cell phone video. Do not be and do not find yourself on YouTube on the 6 o'clock news as a representative of your church standing there where someone dies of a heart attack when you could have been down on your knees, thumping on their chest and trying to do something. Another group that we worked with just stood over him and said, yeah, we're just going to call our medical team. And while you're waiting for the medical team to get there, while you're waiting for the ambulance and the fire and EMS arrive, you are the first responder. Get down on your knees and start thumping on their chest. very effective, eye-opening scenario for a lot of these folks. I see that some folks are making some comments and all that. I apologize that I can't see them too clearly at this distance with my glasses and all that, and I'll try to respond to them later. But I appreciate the interaction and all that, because everything social media is interaction and all that, right? So I appreciate it. Let me go in here. I want to catch this bathroom scenario. All right. We'll go back in there and hit that in a moment. Let me see if I can get some.
Yeah, my struggle was, okay, do I keep you from the weapons, or do I continue to provide myself?
Okay. How you guys doing with it?
Great.
Say hi. We're live on Facebook right now. Now, Kevin actually is a gentleman who got my team to come, and he saw me about 2 years ago at a church security conference, right, Kevin?
That's correct.
And grabbed one of my brochures, and here we are 2 years later. Any regrets bringing us in?
Not at all. All we've
Okay.
heard is fabulous reports from everybody that's taken it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate how you guys feel about the training right now.
People last Saturday said, make sure you go. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I appreciate that. And really, the bottom line is I hope that you guys come away with this with not only how you would handle situations here, but in your everyday life, because you never know when you might run into, especially you working security, you're going to run into something very similar, just basically someone who's loud, rude, and obnoxious.
My
So.
granddaughter, and I have
Yeah.
to deal with her all the time.
Oh, there you go. Well, okay. All right. Thanks, guys. All right. So, yeah, apparently I got word that the folks who went through the training last Saturday just absolutely enjoyed it, loved it. And I heard that one lady's on the board with some county fairground, and that she was going to go and definitely and strongly encourage them to consider going through this type of training. People quickly realize that the team and I are not just another lecture presentation. And especially because based on my own experiences and so on, and not only in the military, but as a police officer, I realize there's only just so much you can learn sitting on your butt, listening to someone talk at you. You know, it definitely has its place, and all these training videos and so on have its place, absolutely. However, to really develop that stress inoculation, muscle memory, self-confidence, and confidence in each other with your other colleagues, you got to get up, hit those scenarios, and learn about each other's weaknesses and strengths and so on, so that you can more effectively work together as a team. Because ultimately, this training seminar and so on is a team building exercise, right? Not just for you to learn about how you can handle a situation, but how you as a team, and especially for church personnel, you only see each other every now and then, right? On Sundays and maybe at church, different church events. But how often are you together, working, training together as a team?
I'm here, but I'm out of work now. Have you heard about the pandemic going on? There's people in need out here. All right? I went to Veterans Affairs. They put me in, gave me a 1-800 number. I called there, and they just put me on hold. I can't get any help from them. Friend told me to come here. You guys would give me some help. Go get some money, Kevin.
We don't have any money to give
You don't have any money, so how are you guys going to help me?
Okay, listen.
Listen, huh? You want me to listen?
Hang on. I understand that you have a story, and I understand that you're frustrated. We have a lot of people here that are willing to help you.
Okay, go get some money, Kevin.
Listen to her.
Hang on.
Oh, I'm listening to her.
We have a lot of people here that are willing to help you. But we just need to take a breath. And we just gotta wait. We are setting up for a big event right now.
Oh, you're setting up for a big event. So you guys can't really help me.
That's actually pretty good, because we've had people who will overreact and start raising their voice with Dennis. We were working with a church group about 2-3 years ago, right before the pandemic. Everything's before the pandemic. And very similar situation. Dennis was in there asking for financial aid. And within moments of walking into the scenario station, this older guy just started yelling and screaming at Dennis, and ended up like standing right up to him and putting both hands on his chest like he's going to give Dennis a shove. Now, at that point, Dennis halted the scenario, because this is not a physical contact exercise. People, please do not beat up my instructor role players. So Dennis asked him, said, hey, what about this scenario, again, a church scenario, what about this scenario gave you the impression that the correct course of action is to get up in my face and be yelling and screaming at me? And the gentleman said, quite confidently, that based on my experiences, he said, I have found that if I mirror someone's behavior, they will see how they're behaving and they will stop. Good people, meaning well, but don't realize they say and do things that could actually escalate a situation, which is what this gentleman did when he went in there and started yelling and screaming. Folks, if you work in a church, don't forget it's about ministry. It's about ministry, it's about ministry, it's about ministry. Don't go in there and start immediately yelling and screaming at people, because that's not going to get you the effect or get you the result that you're probably looking for. Hey, Ed. So Ed is one of my senior instructors, been with me for, maybe 4 years, just recently retired from the Kent County Sheriff's Department, and today he led the lecture presentation portion. Say hi, Ed.
Hello, how are you?
How'd it go today?
It went great. It went great.
Ed did a phenomenal job. Yeah, Ed did a phenomenal job, and he was sharing with me that even though he's spoken to large crowds before, he actually felt a little bit of anxiety doing this class today, but he did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. So let's head over here and check out. Let's check out this bathroom scenario. I want to try to catch it from the inside. Okay. No, I'm just waiting to see if you guys are done.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll let them go back and basically hand it off to their next squad mates. So I try to have everyone work these scenarios in teams of 2 or 3. Why? Because I'm trying to emphasize teamwork, right? Because anytime you're dealing with a situation at church and so on, it's not just going to be about you. It's not about you. It's how we can work together as a team to de-escalate a situation. And I've also noticed that the longer you are alone in a situation that's confrontational and volatile, the longer you stay in a stressful situation, the higher the probability you ultimately are going to say or do something that escalates that situation. I've seen it time and time again. All right, let's go inside. You got another group coming?
I got one more group.
Okay, all right. Let's go inside, watch this from the inside. All right.
Hey, look here. Hey, buddy. What's happening? Who we got down here? Yeah, who is that?
No, I'm just trying to get some sleep.
Trying to get some sleep. You have a rough night?
I'm just cold. I found an open door. It's warm in here. I'm just gonna hang out and warm up.
Huh. Anything we can do to help you out?
No, I'm all set.
You're all set? Yeah? You live around here? My name's Ken. What's yours?
Can you just turn the light out on your way out?
My name's Jack, too.
Just get out! I just want to be left alone! Just turn the light out on your way out!
Calm down, buddy. What can we do to help you? You need?
Apparently you're not going to leave me alone. Just leave me alone! I just want to get some sleep!
Okay.
Just leave me alone! Just turn the light on your way out!
What can we bring in?
Nothing! Just leave me alone! I'm just trying to warm up. Just leave me alone.
What's your name?
Doesn't matter. I don't matter to anybody. Just leave me alone. Just get out of my way. Get out. I want to leave. Just get out of my way. Let me leave. Let me go. I want to leave.
Come on, you can go with us.
Let me leave. Let me go.
Come on. Get out, buddy. There you go.
Alright. How do you think you guys did?
Not too good.
Well, yeah. Part of the reason I waited about 30 or 45 seconds to see if you would reach in there and grab it. And you didn't, which is great. Because, if it's something like this, it's, there's mental illness, there's addiction issues, especially where you're located.
Homeless?
Yep. Obviously you didn't know my name, so I'm not a member of the church. So I'm really unfamiliar to you. You don't know if I have any type of weapons. You didn't grab me, so I kind of waited a little bit until at one point you asked me if there was something, so I purposely talked over the top of you, started screaming. I exploded out of there. And what did I do when I exploded out of there? I had both of you trapped against the wall in the urinals, so you had no way to go. So had I had any type of weapons or anything like that, I owned both of you. You had no way out because you would have had to work your way back over to the door. Just things to think about.
Okay, did you guys catch that? Because once these two guys, and I think I mentioned that earlier in the beginning of this broadcast, now once these two guys sucked themselves into this bathroom, they were in an enclosed area, door closed behind them, no way out, with a potentially violent individual with no place to go. So Derek was just critiquing that phase and making a comment about it. And he'll probably talk about that reactionary gap. Someone pops up and starts getting in your face. You want to make sure you maintain a reactionary gap, which is generally no closer than a few inches beyond maximum arm's reach. For number one, it's going to keep you from being hit in the face. And number two, when you have that reactionary gap, it also keeps you from violating their sense of space, right? Reactionary gap will give you time, and time will give you options. What do I mean by give you time? With that extra inch, you now have an extra millionth of a second for your brain to process, okay, I'm about to get attacked. This is actually happening. Do I need to zig to the right or zag to the left, right? So that is why having a reactionary gap is critical when you're dealing with someone who's loud, rude, and obnoxious, okay? Don't allow them to get inside arm's reach. We had a situation about 3 weeks ago at a training seminar. Individual that, as a matter of fact, Jim was in that scenario. The big guy in the domestic scenario got right up in this guy's face. And during the critique phase, Jim asked him, I said, look, you know, one of the things we're trying to teach here is reactionary gap. Why'd you let me get that close to you and let me stay there? And the individual very confidently said, well, I'm a second-degree black. Now, this guy was kind of skinny. Tiny little guy compared to Jim. And he makes a comment, well, I'm a second-degree black belt. I would have taken you down. And now Jim looks at him and he told me that he looked at the guy and he said, well, isn't the purpose of taking a de-escalation class trying to mitigate and avoid going hands-on with somebody? To which the kid said, okay. I go back and I look at the video because, you know, I try to shoot video and all that, and I see that this kid, not only did he let Jim get right up in his face, but for a second-degree black belt, he did not assume any type of posturing or stance that would give me an indication that he was ready for any type of physical attack. And Jim was right up in his face, well within elbow strike range. And an elbow strike from a guy who's almost 300 pounds on a guy who's maybe 120 pounds, that probably would have taken his head right off. Don't let your pride and ego put you in a situation where you could get your block knocked off and find yourself suffering grave harm, if not worse, just because you think your kung fu is better than everyone else's. Don't immediately assume that you are that good, because you have no idea if the other person you're dealing with is maybe a third-degree black belt or worse, or better. And you're definitely assuming that he can absorb, that's what I'm trying to say. How confident are you that he is able to absorb kicks, strikes, and so on? You know, because there are some people out there, and I can tell you in my career, I've dealt with some people who can absolutely absorb strikes. And haven't you seen in the news and on YouTube people who seem to fight through tasers? Okay? So when you think you're a black belt and all that, and you assume that you can handle your business, being confident is good. Being crazy, egotistical, and conceited like that is a good way to get yourself seriously hurt. All right, let's walk over here and see what else we got going on.
Whether it's here or if you're dealing with the senior high. Or
Everybody having a good time? Hey,
yeah.
My favorite ladies. They told me they were going to photobomb me a while ago.
Yes. Now we are photobombing food.
Right.
So.
You guys getting anything out of it?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you going to use it on your husband?
Absolutely.
Right.
No.
Right. Just. All right. All right, let's see. Have I missed a station? Let's see. We saw Dennis. We've seen the guy in the sanctuary. We've seen the bathroom. And we've seen the domestic and the first aid. Okay, folks, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and wind down. Everyone's pretty much almost done with going through their scenarios. The only thing left right now is closing comments, handout certificates, and all that. And then we'll call it. Was that your last group? Okay, yeah, that's it. So on that note, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the comments and all that. I'm going to get back and respond to you guys personally here in a little bit later this evening. I'm sorry I couldn't respond specifically directly right now. I can. Growing old sucks. Right now I can see that someone's written and all that, but I can't see what it is. So I have to go back and look at it later. On that note, guys, be safe out there. God bless you, and we'll talk to you again soon.